All right, today we're hitting the brakes. I mean, literally. We're diving into a fascinating class of drugs that act as the braking system for your body's stress response. You might know them as alpha and beta blockers, but their official name is adrenergic antagonists. And I mean, think about it. Isn't that kind of wild? How can one little tiny pill have such a massive effect on your body? Calming your heart, lowering your blood pressure. It seems like magic, but I promise you, by the end of this, the magic trick is going to be revealed. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the body's gas pedal. Then, of course, we'll meet the blockers that act as the brakes. We'll zoom in on alpha blockers first, then the huge beta blocker family, and we'll wrap it all up with the most important uses and, you guessed it, some serious cautions. Right, so before you can possibly understand the brakes, you've got to understand the gas pedal. And that, my friends, is your sympathetic nervous system. It's the whole network that revs you up for that classic fight-or-flight response when things get intense. Okay, I know, this chart looks intimidating. It's a lot, but don't get bogged down in the details. Just look at the big picture. You've got stuff that stimulates the system, that's the gas pedal, and stuff that blocks it, that's the brakes. For today, we are living entirely on the right side of this map. We're all about the blockers. So how does this whole system actually get its signals? Well, think of it like special docking stations all over your body called receptors. The two main players are alpha receptors, which you can think of as controlling the squeeze in your blood vessels, and then you've got beta receptors, which are mostly in the heart, controlling its speed and how hard it pumps. So we've got the gas pedal down. We understand how the body revs itself up. Now let's talk about the fun part, the brakes. These are the drugs designed to get in there and flip the off switch when that system is just doing too much. The official term adrenergic antagonist sounds super technical, right? But the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. Just use the lock and key analogy. Your body's own adrenaline is the real key. It fits in the lock, turns, and starts the engine. Well, an antagonist is like a fake key. It slides into the lock perfectly, but it can't turn. And since it's now stuck in there, the real key can't even get in. The engine never revs up. Simple as that.
So let's see this in action. First up to the plate, we have the alpha blockers. These are the drugs that are specifically going after those alpha receptors, the ones that, remember, control the squeeze.
And hey, here's a little cheat code for you, a great memory trick. If you ever see a drug name that ends in ocin, like prazosin or tamsulosin, you can be almost certain you're dealing with an alpha blocker. It's a super handy shortcut. Now, not all alpha blockers are built the same. You've got the non-selective ones, which are kind of like a sledgehammer. They block a couple different types of receptors. But the ones you see most often are the alpha-1 selective drugs. These are much more like a scalpel, really targeting the specific receptors that relax smooth muscle in places like your blood vessels.
So why would you want to block that squeeze? Well, it boils down to two really important uses. For men with an enlarged prostate, or BPH, these drugs are a game changer. They relax the muscles there and make it way easier to urinate. And second, for high blood pressure, they relax the blood vessels themselves, giving the blood more room to flow and bringing that pressure down.
But, and this is a big but, there's a downside. When you relax those blood vessels so well, sometimes they relax a little too much. This can cause your blood pressure to drop really fast when you stand up, making you feel super dizzy. It's called orthostatic hypotension, and it's the #1 side effect to watch out for. Okay, let's switch gears to the other, arguably more famous side of the family, the beta blockers. These are the drugs that go right to the source and tell the heart to just chill out a bit. And if you liked the alpha blocker naming trick, you're going to love this one. It's even more reliable. If a drug name ends in olol, metoprolol, propranolol, atenolol, you name it, it's a beta blocker. It's one of the most solid rules in pharmacology. You can take that one to the bank. Now, this is where things get really interesting. See, beta blockers are organized into generations. And what makes each generation different comes down to one critical thing: how selective they are. How good are they at hitting just the target they're supposed to hit? So the first generation drugs are, you guessed it, non-selective. They hit the beta-1 receptors in the heart, but they also hit the beta-2 receptors in the lungs. But the second generation is way smarter. They're cardioselective, which means they mostly stick to the heart's beta-1 receptors. And this is a huge deal, because for someone with asthma, you absolutely do not want to be blocking those lung receptors. It can be really dangerous. And then you have the new kids on the block, the third generation. These are the overachievers. They don't just block beta receptors, they have bonus effects, like helping to open up blood vessels, kind of like they have a little bit of alpha blocker activity built right in.
Okay, let's bring it all home. We've talked about a lot of details, so let's focus on the big picture, the absolute must-know clinical facts about beta blockers.
All right, time for the rapid-fire round of things you have to remember. 1. They are proven to save lives and help people live longer after a heart attack. 2. They're sometimes used off-label to help with stage fright by calming those physical jitters. 3. You never stop them abruptly. You have to taper off slowly, or the heart can go into overdrive. And finally, 2 massive warnings. They are a bad idea for cocaine-induced chest pain, and, as we said, the non-selective ones are a definite no for patients with asthma or COPD.
So if you take away just one single thing from all of this, let it be this. Not all blockers are the same. The real skill in using these powerful drugs is knowing the difference between selective and non-selective, and perfectly matching the right tool to the right person and the right problem.
And all this really makes you wonder, doesn't it? As medicine gets more and more personalized, what's next? Are we going to see blockers that are custom designed for a person's specific genetic makeup? It's a pretty exciting thought. Thanks for diving deep with us today.